With the beginning, you locked down March 16th, and it was a pretty strong lockdown. Had it at that point already gotten out of control? You have a lot of ski resorts in Austria, and were you late in locking down in the first place?
We were one of the first countries in Europe which decided to have a complete lockdown, and I think it was extremely important that we were faster than others and that our reaction was tougher than in other countries. In these days, we did not have high numbers. We only had a few thousand cases and we only had a few hundred people in the hospitals. But because of the exponential growth, it was necessary to have this lockdown. And it was good that we did it, because now the situation in Austria is under control. We only have about 100 new infections every day. And we are extremely happy that we reacted so fast and that we reacted so tough.
So as you've opened up, you have more people mingling with one another under controlled circumstances and with masks. But are you seeing the rise of cases? Are you seeing the rise of hospitalization? In these few days that you have opened up, has there been an increase in any of the COVID-related numbers?
No, our numbers are still going down. The situation in the hospitals is very good, and also the absolute numbers of new infections is by about 100 a day, so very low, and we think that our numbers could go down even more. What we try is to reopen very slowly and very carefully. We do it step by step, always 2 weeks in between.
So explain that. You've opened a few things now, as you say. You're going to watch to see for 2 weeks and make sure that nothing goes up. And then you will open more things. Give us a sense of what the sequence will be. What will happen 2 weeks from now, and then what will happen a month from now?
Well, we started with the small shops on Monday. And on the 1st of May, we will open all shops. And at the mid of May, our plan is to also open up restaurants. And I think it is important that we always have 2 weeks in between, which gives us the opportunity to watch the numbers very carefully and slow down our reopening plan if necessary, and if necessary, also pull the emergency brake.
Now, this is a question I think everyone is wondering. When you have restaurants and hotels, which I think are also going to open at the same time, what will you do to provide an assurance to people who are walking in that the staff there is COVID-free?
Well, the best thing you can do is to do as many tests as possible. That's the first point. And the second thing is, of course, we still have restrictions like social distancing. And you mentioned it before, the people in the shops, but also in the future in the restaurants or somewhere else will have to wear masks. I think this can be quite helpful. And of course, what is important is to have a good containment strategy so that if there are new infections, that these people are isolated very quickly.
Explain the testing. So if I go into a restaurant, will there be some assurance that once a week, once every 2 weeks, everybody in the restaurant has been tested?
Well, this would be perfect. It's not possible to do it at the moment. At the moment, we have about 10,000 tests a day, but we are working hard to increase our testing capacities. And probably in the future, this could be possible.
And do you think, give us a picture of at least your sense of what the future of tourism, at least until a vaccine, will look like? People come to the airports, do you think, like in some Asian countries, will you be taking their temperatures? Will there be some kind of medical documentation required? Will I have to get some kind of health passport? What do you think?
Yes, I think this is the right way to deal with it. But if the situation is under control in a neighboring country like Germany, for example, I think you will not need documents in the future. It will be possible to travel freely like we had it in the past. So I think that tourism can be possible, but of course there will be the need for restrictions, like a number of people maximum you can spend your evening with, or other restrictions like social distancing in the restaurants where you have breakfast or dinner. And I think another important point is that we have to be perfect in containment. We know from all the Asian countries that they are extremely successful in isolating people who are newly infected, and if you're good on that, you can keep your numbers low.
And you are, in a sense, giving hope, it seems to me, to a lot of people, that there is light at the end of this tunnel. Do you feel that way?
Yes, definitely. I think that it will take months and the situation will stay difficult, but we will have something like a new normal. And I think what should be all our approach is as much freedom as possible and as many restrictions as needed.